Alright, so I'm back here now. Yeah, here we have Leaf, 99 wins and 0 losses. Very nice. Yeah. But yeah, this is gonna be fun. Seeing how everybody did. Leaf honestly did not have as many kills as I thought I had on him. I thought he racked up more kills, especially considering how much I used him down in the prison. But yeah, he was never picked up. See there, 0 losses. I wonder, like, what happens if that occurs. Like, if a enemy unit picks Leaf up. Like, is it just an instant loss, or can you still rescue him? I don't think I've ever been in that situation. Yeah. Well, at some point, maybe I'll try it out. Well, I just want to move on to new characters here, you know. I don't really care what happens here afterwards. So, yeah, maybe I should find something to talk about. Yeah, Fire Emblem Thracia, cool game. Oh yeah, I guess I could talk about the future of this game. Like, at some point I would like to come back and replay Thracia here on the channel, but I would like to do some self-imposed challenge, like, above having Iron Man rules, like, make it even harder for myself. And holy crap, look at Finn. 115 wins, 2 losses. Yeah, he was picked up twice throughout the entire game. Let's see here. He was picked up... Yo, yeah, back in Chapter 12X, remember? In the thief hideout, that thief there that came out of the darkness, he captured Finn as Finn was holding on to Trude there. And then I was picked up again by another thief, yeah. Actually, only like a week or so ago, what's his name? Damn it, I forget his name now. Kage something? He just commented, or left a comment on Chapter 12X there, leaving a face, like a surprised face, as a reaction there to me getting Finn picked up by the enemy there. Yeah, and I was like, well, you know what, that was pretty much the face I made. That was pretty funny. Yeah, that was a very weird, well, it was very, very weird how that map played out. Holy crap, it was certainly very, well, it happened a lot during that map in particular. Yeah, it was hapful. Is that even the right word? It was hapful, you guys. And of course, Nanna, 108 wins. I honestly thought she had more, like, by how much she fought back there in Baron Raedric's castle in Manster, when we first recruited her and gave her the Hezul and Baldur Scroll and just power leveled her with the pure water. I'm sure you guys remember that. That's where we lost Laud after all. Yeah, Ava, she died at the very final level. I should have been more careful with her, but you know what? I wasn't. And you know what? I'll get back to that Fire Emblem Thracia replay at the end of the post-game stats here. Don't worry, I haven't forgot about it. Yeah, Marita, 54 victories. You know, she did more work than I thought she did. Unfortunately, since I lost her mother, like, I believe, or well, I hope anyways, that if you have both Abel and Galzus alive at the very end, that Marita should get some special flavor text here, like, oh, they went off to live happily ever together, but Galzus, of course, disappeared and visited once a year or something like that, you know? But, yeah. Oh no, Evhalvan, layman, third hero, 131 wins, 1 loss. He died at the hand of one of the most powerful warriors there in the entire game at the very end. Oh. And Orsin, yeah, he's not dead, he was just captured back there in Chapter 15 or 16. Like the map where you recruit Misha there, I forget which map it is. I'm pretty sure it's 15. Or 14, just whatever, doesn't matter. But, you know, Orsin had more kills than I thought. I thought for sure Halvan was leaps and years beyond him in body count. Or, well, in kill count, yeah. In body count. Yeah, let's not go there. Yeah, he did really well. Like, he was not as solid as Halvan. Halvan obviously had less health, but with all the magic scroll level ups he had, he was really resilient to spell damage. He just got critted at the very end by a, well, spellbook, by the Nosferatu tome there, yeah. Yeah, I completely messed up there. I failed to realize she had the breath skill, and yeah, Halvan just got blasted. She put a hole through his, well, stomach there. I guess you could say he could not stomach the pain. Wink? Okay, just chat. Tonya, 62 wins. Yeah, Tonya was a lot of fun to use. I gotta say, I definitely appreciate her as a character here. Like, she's a lot stronger than I thought. Like, the FCM of 2, and the fact that she supports her up with Orsin makes it, well, makes them a very strong duo there. Like, 10% hit, avoidance crit, anti-crit is very nice coupled with their FCM that both of them have. Yeah, sure, she only has an FCM of 2, and Orsin has an FCM of 3, so yeah, but still, it's very nice to have the anti-crit too, that's for damn sure on them. But yeah, Doug died, 41 wins, way more than I thought there too. He did quite well. And Marty here, Doug's beloved right-handed man. 73 wins, 0 losses. Yeah, there is nobody in the whole damn world which can pick Marty up. He's pretty much at 20 con, well, before he promotes. I think he's like at 50 or 60% constitution growth. He's just crazy. And he also starts at a very high comp. Yeah. Yeah, I really gained a new appreciation for Marty here too. Like, holy crap, he's not a bad unit. Like, he's not a top tier unit, but he's not bad. He can just use scrolls that nobody else wants, like the Zed scroll and OD scroll, you know, and become really strong, especially after he promotes. And Ronan, Youth of Ease. Yeah, he died there on chapter 2. He got crit by one of the first bandits he faced. Like a 3 or 4% crit, if I remember correctly. Servant of the Divine, Sophia. Picked up 3 times. I forget exactly when those times took place, but yeah, all my priests and priestesses were pretty much picked up. That much I remember. But you see, that's what I mean, like, if you want a good score, I'm pretty damn sure you can't let that happen. Yeah. I mean, it would make sense if that reduces overall rank, right? And yeah, Shiva here. Yeah, I totally would love to do a, well, if I did a replay, I would totally love to use Shiva some more. He's a really cool character, and you know, he does get support, I believe, from Sophia there, which is nice, you know. If you promote her early and have her run around with this guy, yeah, surely the enemies can't kill her very easily. At the very least, if you manage to get her a light tome, you know. That could be interesting. That could be something to look into. And yeah, Leith is killed in chapter 11X, yeah. Yeah, he was just killed there by a crit javelin from the shadows, yeah. Leith has very poor luck, so, I mean, I'm not super surprised that it happened, but yeah. At that moment, back in chapter 11X, I was not happy. It was one of the more annoying deaths. And I had to waste like 2 warp staff uses on that map, thanks to him dying since I could not unlock the door to the boss room. Yeah. That was also a map and a half, chapter 11X. And yeah, here Fergus, 92 wins, 0 losses. He had more wins than I thought. Then again, you know, he was with us from the beginning of the game. Maybe he should have even had more wins, you know, all things considered. I used him a lot there in the prison. Then in the mid game, I used him some. And in the late game, he pretty much disappeared. Karin, 118 wins. Holy crap, was she kicking ass. Like, Karin is just one of those weird characters. Like, she doesn't have anything that really stands out about her, but thanks to the fact that she's your only early game flyer, you kind of have to invest in her, and so she always becomes good, I feel like. And like, heck, by the end game, like, since she starts with 6 or 7 magic points, like, if she just gets a few magic points, like, across all her level ups, she's gonna be at 10 plus by the end game. I believe my Karin was like at 15 or 16 magic. So yeah, she's really good in the end game for tanking spellcasters. You know, couple that with the support with Fargus, you know, they're a really strong duo there. And of course, Aspel, guided by the winds, 180 wins. Holy crap! I think he broke the record here. Yeah, I mean, he probably got 40 kills there on chapter 19, was it? Like when he sat in a forest and just protected everybody whilst they escaped the map there. Yeah, and then Dean flew out with him. Yeah, I don't really need to say a whole lot about Aspel. Like, he's one of the best units in the entire game. The only thing that sucked about my Aspel was his low staff rank there. But, you know, he has got support with Leaf, so he's a super strong unit. Brighton, yeah, he died there. I put him in, well, Siege Tome range there on Chapter 6. Whoops. And Makka, Blade of Gales, yeah. Like, Makka, I wanna like her as a unit. She's pretty good, like her growths are decent. She has an FCM of 4, is it, I believe? 3 or 4. And I think she also has the Vantage skill. Like, she's a really good unit overall. But, like, I don't like how she doesn't have support. Like, you have to wait all the way until Chapter 23 or 24, whenever it is said joins, and only then does she get 10% support from him. That is so lame. I really wish that she and Brighton gave support to each other. Like, as it is currently, only Brighton gains 10% from her. For whatever reason, he doesn't support her back. I guess he's just a dickhead. Or maybe she's not all that inspired by him. You know, that could be it too. Maybe he's not a dickhead necessarily. And Laura died at Chapter 5. Yeah, she was picked up in the prison and then killed off there by the Silverbow guy. I remember it clear as day. Which is a shame. I was gonna promote her into a dancer, and I was gonna, well, try and get as many Hezul and Dane Scroll level ups on her as possible to max her out. Yeah. And Dalsim. Yeah, Dalsim 2 is an underestimated unit, like, for certain... but in certain prospects, for... what am I trying to say? Like, he's good in the sense that he gets support from Leaf, right? And, like, I'm thinking, as I mentioned there at the... and where I mean, at the beginning of this video here, I would like at some point to make a harder challenge run of Thracia, where I perhaps flat out ban scrolls. And if I'm gonna do a challenge like that, characters like Dalsim would be very strong, and characters like Hicks too. Why, you ask? Well, characters who has support with Leaf gets 10% anti-crit, and if you don't have the scrolls to mitigate crit, you're gonna need characters that support with Leaf, like, seriously. So, like, a character like Dalsim would be a boon to have if I made a scroll-less run. Yeah. That could be really fun, you know what? Like, that way I wouldn't have to sit and trade scrolls around, and level ups would feel more impactful, and, you know, you will get less movement level ups from the Dane scroll. Yeah, I think that is one of the more fun challenge runs you can make of Thracia. Just ban the dance scrolls, you know. Yeah. If we replay this game, that's what I'm gonna do. And here we have Glade, Knight of Integrity. He was entrusted with overseeing the military's reorganization. Well, very nice. That makes sense. This is a leadership type character. And yeah, speaking of Glade, yeah, he was picked up there in Chapter 19. 51 victories, yeah. He did pretty well. Like, Glade is a decent unit. Even if you don't give him scrolls, you know, he gets 20% support from Selfina there, so yeah. Like, Glade, once again, would be a super good unit on a scrollless level up. Holy crap, yeah, he would be even more valuable there than he is in the OG game with scrolls, you know. Selfina, too, would be a nice character on his scrollless run. Like, she gets support from Glade, 10%, and 10% from Leaf. You know, and speaking of... holy crap, 111 victories. I did not think she killed that many. I thought she was like at 70. Holy balls. Yeah, she was a fighter. But, yeah, speaking of Glade and Selfina, like, the Christmas boy, Alba and Kane, too, and Robert, for that matter, on his scrollless run, would be super strong, since all those 3 boys gets 10% from both Selfina and Glader, like 10% support, I mean. Yeah, that would be a very strong, well, a very strong troop, something like that. Yeah, I don't even know. I'm just really overthinking things here, thinking about the future of Thracia, I guess. But yeah, if I'm gonna do that, I'm probably gonna... Like, I wish I had spoiled Selfina a little bit more, giving her more skills. Or, well, Glade for that matter too. Kane and Alba, it would also be a lot of fun to save scrolls for. But yeah, I went with Alba there. I think Kane honestly would have been better. Like, he has higher health and strength growth, and like Alba maxed out so quickly in speed, and he lacked HP and defense. Yeah, Kane probably would have been the smart choice there. Yeah, but hey, Alba worked out great too. You know what? And speaking of Alba, here we have him. 63 wins, 0 losses, very nice. He was reassigned by Leaf and Altena to a post in the former region of South Thracia. Okay. Yeah, Alba did some great work there. Delstes's choice for me to play. Or well, actually he requested I would play with both Kane and Alba, but yeah, I made the decision I would only be using one of them. Yeah, since I would not have enough promoting seals to go around for everyone. But yeah, Alba, like, this is the first time I played with him too. Like, I haven't used Kane or Alba before, and I gotta say, like, Alba is a really solid character if, well, you don't want... Or well, if you want a strong unit that doesn't require you to constantly put scrolls on them, you know. Like, Robert... Like, characters like Robert, Kane, Alba, they have super nice growths, you know. Very strong dudes there. You can't go wrong with them. It's just a shame that when they join, they're gonna struggle a little bit since, you know, you're in the late early game there. Yeah. Robert I have played with, I believe I mentioned that. He's actually really good. I think he's got an FCM of 3. Oh yeah, I had my little speech there between who's better or who's the best archer in the game between Robert and Ronan. But yeah. Callion, yeah? Fernando Pino's pick. Callion, he just died there at chapter 11 to Ballista. Yeah, which is a shame. Callion is one of the best units or horse units in the entire game. Like, he can use both swords and lances on horseback. Not only that, he's supported up by both Leaf and Selfina too. So yeah, he's very easy to level up in the arena. Like, yeah. He's such a good unit. It's a shame I lost him. And yes, speaking of units that I wish I could have used more, like Alfred here. Alfred and Olven would have been fun if I could have used more. Like, when Olven died, I didn't really feel like using Alfred much more, you know. I do believe only Olven gives Alfred 10% support, and Alfred doesn't give any back, but, you know, she does get support from Leaf at the very least. Yeah, Pawn here, 29 wins. Well, there really isn't a whole lot to be said about Pawn. He's just overpowered, you know, as far as thieves go, you know, or goes. Yeah. I really wish Lara hadn't died. It would have been so much fun to support her up with Pawn and have them run around and kick ass, you know, together. Intrude, the man called Death itself, okay. Yeah, he died there at chapter 21 instead of the arena. I'm sorry, Spring. I lost your boy Trude there. And Halvan, for that matter. But at least Halvan died in a cool way. Trude, he just, well, he died making money. And actually, that's not entirely true. I was actually leveling him up to, well, promote him in chapter 22 there, once we got access to the promotion seal shop there. And Salem, yeah, died in chapter 19. I actually realized a little bit later that, oh, wait, Salem is actually a pretty good unit. Let's try and level him up. And then I got a little bit too cocky, moved too close to the enemies, and he died. To a great bow shot, I believe. Yeah, Tina, she was picked up a whole bunch of times. Not much to be said about this lady either. She's overpowered, like, as far as healers goes. Freaking Thief Staff, Unlock Staff, 25% chance to move again. Yeah, incredibly strong. The only thing that's weak about her is that she joins in with staff. Well, she joins in with a staff rank of E. That's actually kind of lame with her. And Linduan, one of my favorite units in the entire game. She too would be really solid on a scroll-less run. She would not become a fighter quite as strong as she were on my run here, because, well, if she doesn't get the Dane and the Soul Scroll, yeah, she won't get that much health or defense, but she can still be a very nice support unit with high amounts of magic and nice staff rank, you know. So yeah, she would definitely be included in his scrollless run. And you know, she also gets support from Leaf and from Dean, and on top of that, as long as she's around Dean, he gets 20% support from her, which yeah, they make for a really dangerous duo. So yeah, Dean too. He died there. Yeah, he was picked up twice on Chapter 23, and then he got killed off by an archer unit on the very same map. So yeah, 3 losses all in all. Yeah, speaking of units that would be good on using in a scrollless run, that too wouldn't be so bad. Since she supports her up with Dean there, they give each other 10%, I believe. But, you know, I'm not too hyped up on her. Yeah, 0 wins and 1 loss, yeah. I just basically got her caught on, well, on purpose, so that I would unlock Chapter 21X. That's her only loss there. Yeah. I wonder if you can get the perfect score, like, even if nobody dies and nobody else is captured besides one character, you know, so that you can access Chapter 21X. I have no idea. It doesn't really matter, I suppose, but I'm just saying. And Homer here. Feminine Homer. Yeah, he's got very beautiful eyes. You know. Yeah, but Homer here, really cool character. Like, he has the Paragon skill. I don't remember if he has support, maybe with Nanna. But yeah, the Paragon skill there would make him another very solid character in a scrollless run. Same goes for Ralph, actually. He doesn't have support. Well, actually, Ralph wouldn't be that good at all. He doesn't have the best growths. I mean, they are mediocre. It depends on how many units you lose due to crits. You'd imagine that if I made a scrollless run of this game, like, you're constantly under threat of 3 to 4% crits to happen at you. Like, I would have to play even safer with Leaf. I guess one of the best ways to handle a scrollless run would be to just use at least one Hammer on the light brand, you know, because it gives him 5% anti-crit. Yeah, you gotta have the light brand on him on his scrollless run. It's as simple as that. And Eloise, yeah. Yeah, whenever I think of Eloise now, I'm just thinking of the fact that I gave him the Accost skill there, thinking that, well, with the Accost skill, he can use Siege Tomes to two-shot, you know, ballistas in one round, but, you know, no, Siege Tomes weigh you down by 20 speed, so you won't be able to proc Accost. Yeah, that was a big blunder there. I don't know what I was thinking. Yeah, the Accost skill should probably never go to mages, since they are always weighed down. They can't counter, well, the weight on tomes with Constitution. It just doesn't work. I learned that from Fate in this playthrough. I never noticed that before when I was playing on my own, but yeah, there you go. Should probably have given it to Marty, in all honesty, or Halvan. Would have been nice there too. And Shroff, yeah, 0 wins, 3 losses. Another very good unit. Like, I never really gave him too much attention in previous rounds of the game, but during this playthrough I realized that, you know what, he's actually a really freaking strong unit. Starts with A rank in staves, I believe. At the very least he started with B rank, and I just never noticed him going up to A rank, or I just forgot about it, I guess. But yeah, very nice unit, despite his lack of HP growth. He's super squishy, but high-ass magic and skill growth is really solid for using staves. And Amalda, she's now a retired knight. Okay. She returned to the Dukedom of Frege and devoted herself to restoring it to its former glory. Okay. And yeah, this was my first playthrough here of Amalda. She was really solid. Like, yeah. You know, a paladin with a leadership star. Kind of a mini Nanna. Yeah, depending on how you look at it. She buffs globally, Nanna only buffs close units or units close to her. But yeah, she joined with a C rank there in staves and A rank in swords. She's quite good. You can't go wrong with using her. And Dermoter, the charming knight, slain by an armored soldier with a poleaxe. Yeah, I felt so stupid when I lost him. I remember, like, yeah, I should have checked the enemies. Like, They were just carrying hammers there, and I didn't bother to, well, look closer at them. And yeah, sure, they were walking around with hammers, but in their inventory they had poleaxes, apparently. I realized there afterhand, so yeah, lost Dermot. But, you know, it's fine. And yeah, Sias 2, really overpowered unit. I actually think I like him a little bit better than Zed. You really don't need Zed for the end game. Like, if you've lost a lot of strong units, sure, use him. But if you have a lot of good units, well, might as well go with Sias, right? And holy crap, Galsus didn't actually die! Look at that! 7 wins and 0 losses! So the fact that I picked him up with Marty actually saved his ass! Dude, that is so cool! So at least Marita got her father alive and well here. Shame her mother died, you know, now she won't have anywhere to return to, really. I guess you can just, well, either wander the world there with Galsus or follow Leaf back home or something. And so, at only 44 victories, I for sure thought she had more kills. I guess she didn't fight that much. Yeah. But yeah, Soda 2, extremely overpowered character with scrolls. She would definitely be a lot less powerful without them, but she would still be crazy good as a healer. And that's it. So an E rank, not my proudest moment, but hey, I expected it. So yeah, that's the ending of Thracia. A bit melancholic as per usual here to be done with a Fire Emblem game, but next up I'm probably gonna dive into Fire Emblem Sacred Stones, and then I'm gonna tackle Fire Emblem 11 Shadow Dragon and do a randomizer run of that game. Yeah, like as I mentioned there in my update video before, whenever we recruit a character, I'm gonna bring up a spinning wheel on the side and reroll. Like, as soon as I can, I will have to reroll that character. Like, yeah, and then they're just gonna have to stay at or as that class for the rest of the game. So, like, if Drog ends up becoming a mage, well, then so be it. But yeah, with that in mind, I might have to go with hard 2 at most, maybe hard 3. We'll see. Apparently, according to one of my viewers there, the game is mostly hard at the beginning on, well, higher difficulties, so yeah, I might not have to worry too much. Maybe hard 3 is good enough or safe enough. But yeah, so that's my plan for the close future here, and let's see. Yeah, as I've already mentioned about Thracia here, I would love to come back and do a scrollless level up of this game in the future. Either that, or we could use scrolls and just, well, assign scrolls to certain characters, and once that scroll is assigned to somebody, nobody else may trade that off ever, for whatever reason. So, yeah, let's say we get the Baldur scroll and I want it to be used on Trude, let's say. Well, then I can't use the Baldur scroll until Trude joins. So, yeah, stuff like that could also be fun, but honestly, I feel like doing a scrollless level up. Scrollless level up. See, there I go. I'm so, I'm so ingrained here in speech patterns. Yeah, I think it would be more fun to just not use scrolls at all. That way, it's a very basic playthrough. No creative immunity, which means we will have more upsets and more crazy things happening, which would also be a lot of fun. Heck, I might actually even not do an Iron Man run then, because Leaf could very well. I don't know. Like, it's probably most fun if we use Iron Man settings there too. Just whatever. Something like that. Like a future run of Fire Emblem Thracia. No scrolls, Iron Man rules, stuff like that. That could be cool. Oh yeah, and one more thing before we turn this off. I am also planning on doing another tier list of my units here on, well, how well everybody performed. Like, yeah, very much like I did with Fire Emblem 6 there. It would be kind of neat, I think. And yeah, it's not going to be an objective tier list, like how strong everybody is objectively. It's just going to be how well they performed in my playthrough, once again. So, yeah, for example, Nanna, on my playthrough, she's definitely going to be S++, or heck, even Bunted tier. Yeah, she was just incredibly strong. Yeah, Bunted tier, that's a little, well, running gag here, I guess, on this channel. From Mystery of the Emblem. I used him quite extensively It was a lot of fun, and they actually ended up, well, maybe I shouldn't spoil it, but yeah. Let's just say we did some bounty gaming. But yeah, let's just round off this game here. Fire Emblem Thracia, great game, although a bit frustrating at times, especially for beginners. I can't really recommend this game. See, that's the thing with Thracia. It's a cool game, but I can't really recommend it to beginners. I think it's too hard when you're playing it blindly. Like, a game shouldn't require you to use guides, but this game does. Like, a ton of cheap shots, a ton of frustrating things and spawns. But if you can just look past that, like all of the frustration and, you know, just love the game for what it is, it's a lot of fun. And the more you play it, the more experience you have with it, the easier and the more fun it becomes. It's just one of those games, like, it's frustrating when you don't know what you're doing, very frustrating, but once you have played through it once with some guides, then, you know, your next playthrough shouldn't be any problems whatsoever. You should be able to get through on your own volition, you know. But yeah, great graphics, great music, great plot, just a bit frustrating, but hey, still a great game. So with that, I'm just gonna tap out here. I'll see you guys in Fire Emblem Sacred Stones. I'm just gonna be doing a regular hard mode run of that game next, and then, yeah, at some point in the future, we'll do an Iron Man run of that game too, with her brother there. I actually forget his name now. Erika and... what's the dude's name? Serafan? Ah, just there. Just turn the damn video off. Thank you guys very much for watching, and I'll see you in the Sacred Stones.